Hello team, it is start of a new vlog. It is Saturday the 15th. I actually started filming one of these on the 10th and then I just didn't film anything, but I haven't really been reading because work has been pretty hectic. So we're going to try again. We're going to try and start the vlog again. I'm at Raylene and Jeff's house. Don't even talk about what's happening to my face right now, but we've had a breakout. It's been busy. My skin is apparently copping it, which is fine. So I thought we would try and vlog. I haven't read a whole bunch in the last week. With work, I have alpha reads happening at the moment, which doesn't leave like a lot of fun time reading or like reads for pure enjoyment. But we'll see what we can get done in the next 10 days or so. So, quick update. First thing I'm reading, I'm allowed to talk about, is Anaximides number 3 by Palmer Pickering. This is the first alpha read, so I'm doing 2 at the moment. But in terms of like finishing stuff for this vlog, I will aim to finish this book in this vlog. I am about halfway through. A lot of things happening, some puzzle pieces coming together. It's a lot more about the Star Children. So the setup for books 1 and book 2, I don't want to give anything away just because spoilers to book 3. We are dealing with like this prophecy of the Star Children, and we're starting to see that prophecy come to light because I believe this is closing the first arc of this saga, this like epic space opera saga that we have going on. So enjoying my time with that one. I have some thoughts which I've written down to send to Palmer once that is completed, hopefully before the end of this vlog. The other thing that I'm reading at the moment is Return of the Griffin. This is by J.C.M. Byrne, book 2 in the Hybrid Helix series, and this is a lot of fun. This is the one I've been reading very slowly. It's only like 400 pages, and I've been reading it for about 2 weeks, just when I can. But when I need some brain candy, it really has been scratching the itch. It is wild. I appreciate J.C.M. Byrne's way of writing because it takes the mickey a little bit, but it does it in a way that, I'm trying to articulate this, where it's very on the nose. It's very tongue-in-cheek. For example, we have a superhero who is very cranky, and he's like the lord of the underworld. His name is Poseidon. So it's easy to read in that regard, but he is still tackling, I guess, bigger thematics just in a way that is accessible while also being nonsense and fun. And I really like the balance that J.C.M. Byrne has of like humor and wit without being too funny, because I don't love like overly humorous books, but this has enough wit in there with enough like that sojo moments in the book that I'm really enjoying it. And it's what I need, and I think I will do a proper review on this one, but something that I do, or even in like the wrap up, go further into detail, but something I do really appreciate is the diversity of the cast. It's really, really well done in terms of, I guess, multiculturalism, more so than, when I talk about diversity, it tends to be like queer-led, but in terms of multiculturalism, this book does it really well. Other thing I'm listening to is The 13th Hour by Trudy Skies. So I started this one this week, and I'm at 25%. I'll put the cover up here. I love this world. I adore it. I don't know why I didn't pick this up sooner, but it is steampunk fantasy. We are following a bunch, and this is multicultural in another way, which I'll go into again in my wrap-up, but we have a number of different, like, species. There's, like, a mystery happening. There is, like, little bits of romance in there. I'm really enjoying it. I need to articulate better with that. But this evening, I need to log into work again, so I've got some OT tonight. I'm dog sitting, which is why I'm in this location, not my normal location. So I'm at Raylene and Jeff's house. So I'm going to log into work, but I should have a couple of hours to just sort of hang out with Coco, which is the little white dog that we have here. So I might finish Return of the Griffin. I've got an hour and a half left. Or I'm feeling finally getting back into Swan Song. So potentially I may pick this back up and see if I can knock out another couple of 100 pages before the end of the month and just keep slowly going on that one whilst I want to, rather than like forcing myself to read it when I don't want to. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, it's very late out here. I'm gonna go feed these animals dinner and then I'll back into work and check in with you later. Get you a man with shark socks. I'm 33. Whee! Okay, team, it is Sunday the 16th. I finished a book. I finished The Return of the Griffin by J.C.M. Byrne. Let's just get that angle to be better. Angle down. We don't need that double chin in our lives. What is happening with my hair? Anyway, so I finished Return of the Griffin by J.C.M. Byrne. I had a really good time with this one. I put this in my Goodreads review that I appreciate that J.C.M. Byrne can write a very entertaining and fast-paced story that is quietly political. It doesn't try to really throw any views or anything in your face or discuss anything on too deep a level, but it does sort of invite the reader to, I guess, understand and appreciate more cultures. I think I said this in the last clip that I had with the book, but it's such a multicultural story, and it encourages the reader to listen to other perspectives, but it's not an overly political book. It's not there to put that in anyone's faces. It just sort of has this underlying message of people have different experiences, people come from different cultures, we're all allowed to do that, and we're also allowed to respect each other on that very human level, which I appreciated. The story itself is wild. We're following Rohan, who has to return back to Earth to help defeat land sharks, which are just killing millions of people. And it's a superhero tale, very surface level, is just sort of wild, action-packed. We get to see more of the superheroes that, Rohan and the people that he left. So he left Earth 10 years ago, didn't really tell anyone about it. And we, I guess, unpack some of the consequences of that now that he's returned to help these people and past relationships and that sort of thing. Whilst also just being fast-paced and highly entertaining, which you can actually read these books, but it's also very quietly funny, and it couples. I don't like funny in books personally. I don't love things like Terry Pratchett or Douglas Adams, not my vibe. But J.C.M. Byrne has this way of coupling those eye-roll funny moments with a sharp wit, which gets me invested enough to continue to wanting the series and to actually enjoy it. So it's not over the top, it's not pushing that funny laugh out loud in my face. It's just an occasional scoff at something that Rohan has done or said. The banter in this is really good, and I think that wit comes in that banter. But it is a book too, so I can't go too far into it. I will say that so far I've read 2 books in the series. They are different enough, and it's sort of, I guess, the Monster of the Week vibe. Or when I was writing my sort of thoughts to put out in Goodreads, Storygraph, and Amazon, it's if I took the concept of The Boys, except it's not heroes behaving badly, it's just heroes being very self-aware and having that conversation, and maybe something like the formula of James Bond, where you've got, main guy going out and doing these things, having to interact with the big bad, and there's a pretty girl on the side, but doing that in a very modern way that feels like it's not Ian Fleming product of its time arguments there, but quite misogynistic, whereas this is not. It's not misogynistic at all, but it does follow a similar flavor where you've got just fast-paced scenes, there's a lot happening at all times, it's very quick to throw you into the action, it keeps you in that action, it keeps that pace up the entire time, but it also follows that, there was another girl in this one that we go and we have feelings towards, but then it opens up the discussion of, am I respecting this person because I'm having feelings because I'm back here, and being questioned about that sort of thing. So I feel like it's taken some of the concepts and really sort of turned it on its head, but I ended up having a good time with it. I think I gave it 4 stars, and this series will very likely be a 4-star for me across the board. I'm not wowed and jaw on the floor, this is absolutely the best thing I've ever read, because it's not to my personal taste, but the fact that a superhero book, which is something I don't enjoy Marvel movies, I don't enjoy the superhero aesthetic or subgenre or whatever you call it, but the fact that a series that is based around this concept of heroes has captured my attention and has entertained me so much really tells you that the writer has done a very good job of making this accessible to people who don't necessarily gravitate towards that thing, and I would count myself as one of those. I love Joe's writing style. I think that also captures me because it is that quick, fast wit. He knows what he's doing, he leans into his strengths, and he's unapologetic about it, and that is one of my favorite things when I discover a new author, is your voice, having that author voice be so very much that person. And I, if I pick up another book by this author without knowing that it's him, if it goes, with a pen name, I'll be oh, exactly like Joe's writing. This is Joe, which is great. And I love that when I pick up any author and knowing that authorial voice belongs to them and it's unique to that person. Now, I was going to potentially pick up Swan Song, and then just like the last time I was potentially going to pick up Swan Song, I've just like thrown it aside and be like, actually no. And I've picked up Dragon Your Bones by Taniana Obi. So this is the second book in the Forging of Age duology. This is new adult. So while I'm doing the alpha reads that I've got going on, so I'm about to jump back into Anaximides book number 3, I need something that's very different from the book that I'm reading, and also the concepts that is able just to take me away and let me escape. I'm 5% into this book, and Raja, not my favorite character, but I understand where she's coming from. I think not my favorite character in terms of not my favorite personality type, very different to me. I do not think myself and this character would get on in real life, but I love Nico in these books, and I'm hoping to get more of Nico. I believe it's Nico on the cover, which I'll have up here. So very early days into it. I did really enjoy the first book, which is I've forgotten it now, something about wind. I'll put the first book up here as well, and I like that Obi got me to enjoy these characters, even though they are not people that I would necessarily hang out with. The conversations in this book for a new adult series is just fantastic. We have queer normativity, we have people just self-discovering, coming of age in what is an insane situation, and like the cultures in these books are just fantastic. I'm already like being pulled into the tents, which we got to find a little bit about in the first book, and again it's a book 2, so I don't want to go too far into it. That's pretty much it for the book updates. I thought I would give an update on my book. I think I'm pretty much at the point where I've decided to delay the release, so it was going to be in July for the anniversary of my grandfather's death. I think it will now be on his birthday, which is in September. The reason for that is I am trying to find my own balance between the things that I love doing, which is alpha reading and beta reading, working a full-time job, and also writing. So writing is very much a hobby for me. It is not something I'm looking to make money out of, like, ever. These are stories for me, and if people come along for the ride, that's great. And I'm finding them taking quite a lot longer than I initially thought to go through the next round of edits. So I think it will happen in September. I'm just going to keep working, keep finding that balance. My aim basically is to make sure I'm working on it 4 to 5 days a week, and I have managed to do that. Even on days where I can't get a lot done, I will open the manuscript. At the very minimum, I'll open it and I'll read to see if I can get anything done. So when I do tend to open it, I get 5 to 10 pages done. Like today, it's a day off from work, so I got 10 pages done. On a work day, my brain's not working as well because it's been very busy at work. I might get 2 pages done, and just let it happen authentically as it goes along. So that's where we're at with that. I will hopefully by the end of this vlog hit halfway of the next round of edits, which means I can start putting out a call to get some beta readers of my own. I have about 5. I don't know if I'm going to get any more than that, but we'll see. I might put a call out. I haven't decided, but that's where we're at with that as well. So this afternoon I need to go and read 50 pages of the alpha read. And I've pulled back, so I was trying to do, so if it's a beta read, I can probably knock out about 100 pages a day. I've already done a beta read for an up-and-coming anthology this morning, so I'm going to try and get 50 pages of an alpha read, and then I'm just going to take the rest of the day off. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, that is the update for now. Wow, that is a long clip. I'll see you in the next one. I have to go and work out for my stupid health. Hello everyone, it is Monday morning. I've just bathed and I have to leave the house because I'm very late. So obviously I thought I would film a car update. I thought I would film this because I don't really talk about my medical transition a lot on this channel. I actually had another channel before I started BookTube where I documented like my medical transition, but I'm off to get my testosterone shot. This is a Temu brand of Reandron apparently, but as long as it says testosterone on it, 1,000 milligrams, we're all good to go. So for myself, I had top surgery about 5 years ago. I have no interest in getting bottom surgery. It's just not an area of my body that caused me great discomfort. Occasionally, yeah, dysphoria will flare up, but not enough to spend, I don't know, $100,000 to $150,000 and close to 2 years in a hospital. So depending on, you know, what sort of bottom surgery you'd be looking at, if it was perfect and all the medical science was there and I had the money potentially, but it just, like I said, doesn't cause me that much discomfort, and the D don't make the man cis. So for me, this is really it. So it's a constant
every 3 months, I go and get 1,000 milligrams of Reandron or testosterone put into my bottom, so it goes directly into the glute. It's an intermuscular injection, and then it lasts me about 12 to 14 weeks. My body, it takes a little while to find how your body eats it, I don't know, injects it into your system, and how long that release lasts for. For me, it's 12 to 14 weeks. Most commonly, it is 12 weeks, but I need to upkeep that every 12 to 14 weeks. And if I miss a week here or there, I can generally feel it in my mood. So Rachel likes to talk about my testosterone cycle of being like 1 week of just cranky. Like as soon as I get it, it's like PMS on crack. I'm just furious at nothing. And then it'll be like normal for about, I don't know, 10 weeks. And then the last 1 to 2 weeks is I'm just sooky and I just want cuddles, which is not something that I generally enjoy doing. I'm not a touchy person, but she knows that when my testosterone is low, I'll start getting sooky. So yeah, we're off to do that today and then maybe find Fruit Loops because I have a craving. I don't know. We'll see. But apparently I'm going to be furious in about an hour. So we're going to go get that done and I'll catch you in the next update.
Good evening, team. It is Wednesday night. I had such grand plans of coming home from work and working on my book and then doing some alpha reading. So my office days are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I'm about an hour away from work, but sometimes between an hour to an hour and a half there and back. So it's good audiobook time if my brain can do that the whole way. But there was traffic jams and I had to go to the shops tonight. So my plans have gone out the window and we're just going to forgive that's a thing. So I'm working at home tomorrow, which is great. It means that I can get through my work day and then hopefully have time to do 10 pages of editing and also 50 pages of an alpha read. So that is the new aim. If you goals, you don't meet them, that's fine. Just create new goals the next day. Very different to what I would have probably told you. Would have been freaking out many years ago, but Perth has been so healing. Anyway, I actually have reading updates for us. So I'm at 70, I want to say 70% of the 13th hour. Sorry, I'm very tired. Not a flattering angle, but this is the angle you're at. I'm at 70% of the way of the 13th hour, and bold claim, this may be my debut of the year. It's like 5 stars for me. I had a real emotional moment, and it's not like an overly emotional book, it's just that True Skies has been going through their own, identity journey within the queer community, and I also went through that as an adult. And this book is such a celebration of culture and queer identities and discovering yourself and finding your found family and being safe within that family unit, but it's also about biases that other people can carry and that how that doesn't matter if you found your people, but it also talks about others who are willing to learn and people from maybe other walks of life that you wouldn't expect being allies and just those relationships. Anyway, it got me in the feels quite a lot this afternoon when I was driving home, just about how beautiful it is, and thematically, like, it felt like a hug that I've been waiting 34 years to have. And I've not read a book that's made me feel so seen before. And yeah, I don't know. I'm getting choked up now. I don't know why I slept on it for so long, and like the writing is good, it's got excellent world building, but yet the thematics definitely got to me, in a good way today. So I'm at 70% of that. I should finish it before the end of this vlog. I am back in the office on Friday, so I've got about, I want to say 3.5 hours of listening time, and I will get 2 of those done on Friday, so we'll just see. Sometimes I listen to it on the way to the gym and walking the dog. It just depends. It's quite dark when I walk the dog, so if it's too dark, I don't. Anyway, other thing I've read is I've got to 20% of Drag on Your Bones by Tatiana Obi, and it was the right choice. I'm glad I lent into the mood reading. I'm really enjoying my time. As much as Raja is not a character I love, she is so authentic. Probably one of the most authentic characters to her beliefs, and every time she's on the page, she fills up the page, and I have to hand it to her as a character. Even though she's not a personality type I probably would vibe with in real life, I am, like, I'm so captivated by the things that she's doing because she's so unapologetically herself. And this is a real story of culture and the celebration of one's culture. And I know that Obi, having talked to the author, really loves building those worlds and that culture and celebrating her own culture through these stories. And you can see that. You can see the love of the world that these characters are in, and very easy to read. And I'm glad. So I'm up to part 2 where we're following Nico and her journey with magic and the blood rites is what we're going through now, and it's really cool. So this world feels very lived in. It feels very real for these kids. Very dangerous. It's a new adult novel, so the kids, I believe, are in their late teens. But I'm really enjoying it. But I'm only 20% of the way through that one, and it's a book too, so I can't really go too much into detail there. Those are the 2 things that I'm reading and that I've updated. I'm at page 350 of the alpha read for Anaximenes for Palmer Pickering. I'm hoping to finish that one for the end of the vlog. I think I will have to stop the second alpha read that I'm doing because I need to focus on one. So Palmer's is more technical in terms of how many plot threads are happening right now. And it's taking up the brain space, which is fine. It just means that I need to dedicate that brain space to that alpha read when I'm giving it the time of day. It's also why I'm not going to force myself to go and do it tonight, because I'm not going to give it the time that it needs to sit in my brain to be able to do it. So yeah, I should be able to do more tomorrow. I'm going to go and read now before bed, and we'll see where we get up to. But that is the reading update for now. Also, I'm in Rachel's office. Remember this chair? I do, fondly, but had to get bookshelves, and that sacrifices had to be made. Okay, catch you in the next update. Bye. Hello everyone, it is Thursday night. I don't have a reading update. Why do I always play with my hair when I turn a camera on? Because it's ridiculous. Oh, the octopus, hello. I'm here checking out Little Stack, which I believe was made by Andy Peliquin, and I'm not sure if other people are involved. I assume so because it's quite a big project. This is a new site for people who are a little bit annoyed at Goodreads, and it's new, like they're working out kinks and things like that, but it means that you can follow basically an author's bibliography by following the author, and you can create your to be read or TBR through this website. Now, I believe that the reviews and stuff won't be public, but what it is aiming to do is if you put your review into this particular website, from what I understand, you're able to then like get an image of your review to be able to share on other social media platforms. So it sounds kind of neat. I've just signed up to it. I'll have it linked down below. So it is just littlestack.com. And I'm going to try and put some stuff on my to be read. I'm about to like binge watch some booktube because I've saved up for a week. I'm sort of alpha reading a little bit at the moment, and when I get stuck and my brain just needs a refresher, I'll go and like watch a YouTube video just to refresh the brain before I jump back into it. So yeah, I'm sure that I'll be adding stuff to my TBR, especially because a few of my favorites, I've got some videos from a couple of my favorites and like quarter check-ins for Q1. So normally that means I will be adding stuff to a TBR. So yeah, I'll see how it works. And I have my tea ready to go. Tell you what, ever since starting the 13th hour, I've not consumed more tea than when reading this book. Because one of the characters, Quen, always likes tea and biscuits, so what's a lad to do? Anyway, that was all. Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. It is the 22nd. I didn't film yesterday, but that's okay. I did finish the 13th Hour by Trudy Skies, so I'll put the cover up here. I loved this book. The last hour and a half was of like the audio, because I did this one on audio, was just fucking wild, man. Like, it was just non-stop, literal chaos, like literally chaos. The god of chaos basically unfolds and like comes out, and it's just nuts. But it was really, really cool. This book follows two POVs. So we have Kale, who is among the godless. So there's 12 domains in this world, and every domain has a god, and people are basically have to follow everything their god does, or their god basically has the ability to unalive them at any given point if they do anything that doesn't align with what they see fit. And we get to see, I would say, at least half of these domains or people from the domains in play. They can sort of travel over the world. They have passports like tattooed into their skin for the areas that they're allowed to go into or the areas that they have visited. And then, so we're following Kale, who is one of these godless, so part of this group of people who are trying to tell others that they don't need to follow everything that their God says if it doesn't, align with them, and they are able to be accepted in other ways. And we're following her and like the group of the godless, and also Q Corinth or Quen, who is a diviner, who is one of the warders of this world, who is basically one of the people who is set to keep order. And we follow their story as they sort of interweave between one another. And Kale is very much part of this group who is trying to spread word about, I guess the underlying theme here is acceptance, self-acceptance, and making your own family, the exploration of identity. And she has this ability to change into other domains, which is really cool. And Trudy Skies, the author, is non-binary, and it just had a lot of parallel to, I guess, transition, and the exploration of the identity got me so bad. I think I said that in the last time that I talked about it, where it just sort of got me really emotional, because it was talking about these themes of your found family, the family that you choose. It was delving into acceptance and what it feels like to not feel accepted in those conversations around people disowning you for what you can do. So there is, I don't want to go too much into spoiler territory, but there's a love interest for Kale, and he cannot accept that she can change into other things. And I just thought that was quite reflective of a identity journey. And yeah, it just hit me really hard. But I had a great time with it. The writing's good, the world building is excellent. I'm definitely more of a world building guy, and I think people who are here know that by now, that world building for me is like first and foremost. So the fact that we got to be or discover parts of these domains, even though we don't travel into all these 12 domains, we have, societies and cultures that come into this city called Chime, which is, I guess, sort of outside of the domain. People sort of congregate here, and that's where we're in this setting. And we get to see little bits and pieces, and we get little snippets of their culture through the characters. Now, I don't mind character work. Like, I like characters, like, don't get me wrong. I don't like just hate character, but I will often forgive character work in place of plot and world building. But what I liked is the world building was done through the characters and through the different domains and the different species of people that we have. So for example, we've got mesmers, who are like these ethereal sort of mind readers. We have the amber, who are these like strong rock eaters. I'm guessing like they've got stony sort of skin, and they are able to manipulate fire. We have the necros, who are vampiric like characters who manipulate the body and are able to, like, they tattoo the passports, for example. They can heal, but they do feed on like blood, which is quite interesting. We have the diviner, who I guess are the wardens and the people who overwatch the rest of them. And then we have the Vespers. There was also a couple of others, the Serens, who could sing, but they would manipulate through songs. So they weren't, like, it was illegal for them to sing unless it was like specified that they could sing in these certain places. Yeah, it was just a bunch of really interesting world building through character work for me, and showcasing our individuality as humans through a fictional lens, but also that acceptance and just unapologetic friendships through beliefs and coming together for a common cause. And yeah, I had a great time. I've already crapped on about it for 5 minutes. I'll try and do a full review for it at some point. I just need to sit, I think, with my feelings with it for a little bit. It wasn't a perfect book by any means, but I think for me it was about a 4.5 star read, because it got me, and I would 100% reread it. So I'm looking forward to book 2, which I'll be reading next month. Now, I don't know what I'm going to pick up. So I have about a week left in March. Audio, like, I've been craving some Indian mythology lately. So I do have a review copy of Kavithri by Aman J. Bedi. I'm sorry, I probably pronounced that wrong both times. And so I might go into that. I might pick that up, because I need to get some review copies done. And if that's the flavor that I'm craving and I have the review copy, why not? Why not jump into that? The alpha read for Palmer Pickering, I should be done tomorrow. The aim is to have that one done by Sunday and sent back to her so she can start working on her next round of edits. And then I haven't gotten very far into Dragon Your Bones by Tatiana Obi. I think I hit 30%. So I am dog sitting again tonight, so I'll probably get some more of that done and then check in with you then. Good morning, team. It is Sunday the 23rd. I am at 40% of Dragging Your Bones by Tatiana Obi, so I thought I'd do a quick check-in, sort of halfway-ish, at 40%. I really love that. So this book, this series, isn't something I would normally gravitate towards. It is new adult. It's very character-heavy. What I love about this series is Tatiana Obi's writing style. It's so raw, in that it does not shy away from the culture of these people, and it is rough, and you can feel it. You can live it. If you are a visual reader or a vivid reader, it is so real and so lived in. But a lot of it is told through these character interactions, and like the cultures are really rich. The landscape that they're in is rich, and it's very obvious through the character development that these children have lived in this world and they have survived in this very, very harsh environment of classism and generational trauma and things that have been passed down to them. There was a moment in the section that I was reading last night where we followed this kid, Kai. He has been torn down at every opportunity, basically been told he is worthless, and our other main character, Raja, is giving him something to live for and basically teaching him that he is not worthless and that he is absolutely able to take control of his life and to be of worth. And you see this kid build up this confidence throughout the first book. There is a part that I got to last night that just ripped my fucking heart out, because that power that he has been working on and gaining, and that confidence that he's had, just gets ripped from him. And I was like, God damn. It just hurt, and it takes a lot for me to have that sort of reaction in a book. So well done to Tatiana Obi, and I'm really glad that I'm finally reading this second book in a duology. So if you like, I would say new adult, so older teenagers, and very adult sort of content, and a duology, you might enjoy this one. The world is so rich, it's so lived in. It is, it's heavy. It's heavy, but it's not grimdark. Anyway, just some rambly thoughts as I got to it. I am at page 204 of my own manuscript, so I should hit the halfway point tomorrow. Sorry, this is very shaky because I'm in the non-dominant hand. Yes, the aim is to get halfway before the end of this vlog. I should get halfway tomorrow, which would be great, because I will finish this vlog on the 25th, so we've got 2 days left. Anyway, I'm in the mood to go book shopping, but I don't have any money. I do have secondhand books that I could go and exchange, though. We'll see. I also need to make tiramisu today, because I'm making it for an international food day at work on Tuesday, and I've never made it before. I'm fake Italian. I'm like a quarter. I've lived in Australia my whole life. I've never made tiramisu. I've eaten plenty of them, but I need to go and practice to see if it's any good, and then make the real one for Tuesday. So that's also on the cards for today, as well as finishing, hopefully, Palm Pickering's Alpha Read. It is Monday morning, and I am avoiding working on my novel because what is new? I didn't realise how dirty the espresso machine was before putting that last shot in. Yeah, this bastard. I descale you. What more do you want from me? Anyway, apparently my mid-quarter life crisis, however old I am, was an espresso machine. And here we are, currently making oats, and then I will go and do my fucking 10 pages of my book and get to the halfway mark. I will do it today. Just a quick check-in to say I started Kavithri, which now I can pronounce correctly because I'm listening to the audiobook by Aman J. Bedi, and it is so dark. Probably one of the darkest introductions to a world that I've experienced, at least recently. I've read some pretty dark stuff, but it is an Indian-inspired progression fantasy / thriller. I think there's thriller elements in it, and we're following this young girl called Kavi, or Kavithri, who this world is so fucking brutal to this young girl. And she is a Temu, which, from what I understand, I'm 18% in, are looked down upon because of their heritage. There was the war, and inside of the Temu, they carry berserker rage, and people just don't want anything to do with them. So she's beaten, she has no money, she's out in the slums, she's trying to eat, and she she saves someone, and then in turn that person, then looks kindly on her. I feel like the start of the story is really taking part now at the 18% mark. Don't look in the pantry. Yes, it's messy, I know. Actually, everything is messy because I made tiramisu yesterday and got shit everywhere. Anyway, I started the book, having a great time with it. Very, very vivid world, which is something I love. I feel like I'm living in this world right now. Look at the oats bubbling. I gotta go deal with that. This was a mess. Oats are under control. Does anyone else just hate soup spoons? That's all I came on here to do, is just to say that I really hate soup spoons. Not like Asian soup spoons where it's actually like used to hold soup, but these fucking things. Why is this in the drawer? I hate them so fucking much. What a first world problem to have, that I hate a spoon, a utensil. Anyway, I just got real mad that was the only spoon in there, and then went and washed a bunch of spoons. Okay. That was it, bye. Hello everyone. The lighting is weird and you're on an angle, but we've got to finish the vlog, so we've got to do what we've got to do. It is Tuesday the 25th, so it's been 10 days for the vlog. I'm going to aim to get this one out on Thursday. We'll see how we go, to make it relevant to the week that was. But I thought I would just do a quick little book haul. So I did end up going with Rachel to the secondhand bookshop yesterday and trading in a bunch of books. And I got $48 in credit, and then I picked up a couple of things, like nothing like super exciting in the grand scheme of things. They're not pretty, they're all like beat up secondhand paperbacks. And most of them, bar one, are book twos in series that I have on the shelves. So consciously or unconsciously, I'm going to try and buy a lot of my at least like classic or older paperbacks secondhand, just to save money and because I can. So I always tend to look at secondhand bookstores just to see what I can get. And yeah, had a good time. So I got 5. I traded in about 15. And I ended up getting rid of the Joe Abercrombie books that I had because there's so little time to read books that you think are mid, and like no shade to anyone who loves Joe Abercrombie. I'm just a world-building guy at the forefront, and plot and characters don't really rank high on my things. If you've got great character work, that's great. But like for me, if I can feel your world, your prose is good and your plot's there, I'm going to have a good time with it. And if your characters are great, but none of the other stuff is there, then I don't really care. And I don't have time or the desire to go and reread First Law to find all of the foreshadowing that I probably missed the first time that I read it. So anyway, made the decision to finally go and give this to the bookstore. But yes, I thought I would do a little bit of a haul, and then that's pretty much it. I got to 29% of Kavitri. Really enjoying it. We're going through some trials now, but I can't talk too much about it because that would be spoiler territory for the book. It does something that I don't like, and I'm finding annoying in the audio version, which is when there's dialogue happening between two people, one person will say something, and then the second person will say the same thing in a question form, and there's a lot of that in there, which is shitting me because I personally get very annoyed at repetition in books. It's usually one of my biggest criticisms in a book, even with reading it objectively. That being said, the world and the grittiness and the darkness of the story is fantastic, and that is enough for me to want to keep going. I just now need to taper my expectations to the dialogue having a lot of questions with the same wording in it. But I really like the world. The world is fantastic, even though it's dark. The main character, Kavitri, is quite compelling. She's had a very hard life, and we're going through these trials to do the test of the jinn to see if she can be like blessed by one of the jinn, and there's 3 different trials to go through. I personally love trials, so it's like really hitting and a little bit missing for me at the moment, but we'll see how we go. We're only 30% in, so it could just get really good in the last half. But yeah, that's where we're at with that. I have hit 50% of Dragon Your Bones. I don't have many more thoughts from the last time I talked about it. I'm enjoying it, but I'm reading it like 2 chapters at a time right when I go to bed. And I read 100 pages of another alpha read yesterday. So I finished the alpha read for Palm Pickering. Last third of that book, solid, very satisfying end to an arc of a wider story, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening next. And I picked up the second alpha read. Again, I started it and then I stopped it because Palmas was quite technical, so I needed to step back from that second one, and now I'm back. And I'm about to go and read a little bit more of that before dinner. Anyway, you're here for the book haul. So I got 5 books, donated 15. My aim now is to donate more or the same that I get, and to buy secondhand wherever I can. And support secondhand bookstores and brick and mortar bookstores rather than the Zon. Anyway, I got Daughter of the Empire by Jenny Wirtz and Raymond D. Feist. I love Jenny Wirtz. I've not read Raymond D. Feist yet. I have Magician and two more in that series, which I don't know if I'll read first. I've been told that I don't need to read it first. This is a completely separate series, and the lighting here is shit. Let's see if I can do this. That didn't make it anything better. But yes, I picked that up. I don't know when I'm going to get to it, but I will probably, if I don't need to read the other ones, I'll probably gravitate towards that one because I do love me some Jenny Wirtz. I picked up Area 7 by Matthew Riley. So I read Ice Station earlier this year and I had a good time with it. It was a 3-star read for me, but I am interested in reading the other 2 books in that series, the Shane Schofield, whatever, series. They're fast, they're very popcorn-y. I know what I'm getting in a Matthew Riley book. It is just super formulaic, but entertaining. And when my brain needs to turn off, it can churn through that book quite easily without needing to read too deeply into it. I then picked up The Dark Forest, which is book 2 in whatever this trilogy is. I don't know. By Cixin Liu. I have The Three-Body Problem on the shelves. I believe this is book 2, and then book 3 is Death's End. So this was $10. So I picked it up because it's a bit banged up and yucky. If people don't like that's probably food or something, I don't know. But I picked that up. I then picked up Devin Madsen. I have the first book of this series on my shelves to read, and this one was very affordable and in decent condition, and this is book number 2, We Ride with Death. So I went ahead and picked this one up. I think this will be a 2026 read for me. I've got a couple of 4-book series, whatever that's called, fuck it, I don't know. And then the 4th book of this series is about to come out. J.V. Jones hasn't been writing a lot. I think she took quite a big break from mental health. I really liked the, what's it called? The Baker's Boy books. I read the 3. Really good classic fantasy written by a female author, really quite underrated as well. So anyway, I have the first book of this series and I found the second book. Someone else picked it up and then put it back, and I was stalking them to see if they were going to buy it because I didn't want to buy it if somebody else wanted it. And when they walked away from the shelves, I just swooped in. I was like, well, that's coming home with me because I don't have book number 2. And book number 4 of this series, I believe, is coming out. So those are the books that I picked up in the little secondhand store that I went to called Pulp Fiction. We are so lucky in Perth to have quite a few. And I took a bunch of books that were in very good condition, some special editions that I'm not going to read. I'm not going to film an unhaul or anything. I just took them. Also, there's some problematic authors in there that I don't want to talk about or showcase on the channel that have been around in recent times. So, that is what it is. That is it for the vlog. If you like the content, give it one of those. If you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will, and I will catch you in the next video. Ciao.